You're good at this. People have told you that your whole life, that you're steady, that you're reliable, that you always seem to have it together, no matter what's happening around you. And you've become so good at it that most people who know you would never guess. They wouldn't guess that when the front door closes at the end of the day, something in you goes quiet in a way that has nothing to do with rest. They wouldn't guess that the smile, the easy, natural one you've worn for decades, costs something now. So here's what I want to ask you. Sit with this honestly. When was the last time someone asked how you were and you actually told them the truth? Not the version you perform, the actual truth. If that question made you pause, this video is for you. Because what you're experiencing is not weakness. It is not ingratitude. It is one of the most common and most invisible psychological patterns in men over 50. And almost nobody talks about it plainly, until now. In public, at work, with friends, at family gatherings, you are present, engaged. You carry the room when it needs carrying. By every visible measure, you are a man who is doing fine. But at home, in the quiet, in the ordinary hours, there is something underneath that doesn't match. Not grief, not depression in the way you imagine it looks, just a kind of flatness. A hollow quality to the hours, like the color has been turned down slightly on everything. And the most disorienting part? You can switch it off the moment someone needs you to. The phone rings and the warmth returns to your voice. A friend arrives and the smile comes naturally. You step outside and you are, to everyone watching, completely fine. But you are too good at this for anyone to notice what's underneath. So here is the question most men never stop to ask themselves. How did you get this good? And what did it cost you to get here? This didn't happen overnight. Think about what you were taught, directly or indirectly, about what a man does with difficulty. You handle it. You don't burden people. You stay steady so others can afford to be unsteady. That wasn't weakness. That was the definition of strength. And for a long time, it worked. So you built that, layer by layer. Decade by decade, a self that was composed, capable, dependable. And you did it so completely, for so long, that something else happened. The outer version and the inner version began to drift apart, not through dishonesty, but through years of practicing the outward version so consistently that accessing the inward one became harder and harder, until the public version of you comes easily, and the private version doesn't know what it's supposed to do anymore. That gap between who you are outside and what you feel inside, that is what we need to talk about. Because what lives in that gap is not emptiness. What lives there is something that has never been given a place to exist. Here is the part that changes everything. The emptiness you feel at home is not evidence of a life poorly lived. It is what happens when a man has spent decades giving his full energy outward to his work, his family, the people who needed him, and has never once been given permission to turn that same attention inward. You have been present for everyone. The question this stage of life is asking you, quietly, in those hollow hours, is whether you are finally willing to be present for yourself. The skills that made you exceptional at holding others up, steadiness, composure, restraint, those same skills become walls when you try to look at your own interior. But the men who stop performing for themselves, even just in the small, private moments, find something unexpected waiting there that way. Not emptiness, a man with more interior depth than he ever gave himself credit for. And when he finally stops managing his own experience, he begins to actually have one. The smile doesn't disappear. It just stops being a performance. It starts being real. If you recognized yourself in any of this, I want you to hear this clearly. That gap is not proof of failure. It is proof that you have cared deeply, consistently, and for a very long time. The men who feel nothing in private are usually the men who never invested fully in public. You are not that man. You are a man with real depth, a real interior life that has been waiting patiently, without complaint, for you to pay it the same attention you've given everything else. This stage of life is not the chapter where things wind down. This is the chapter where you finally get to meet yourself without the performance. The smile doesn't have to be something you wear. It can be something you actually feel. If this video described something you've been carrying quietly, I'm glad you stayed. Subscribe to this channel if this is the kind of conversation you want more of. This is what we do here, the psychology of this stage of life, with honesty and without noise. And if you haven't watched the previous video yet, go watch it now. It's about feeling like a stranger in your own life after 50. It connects directly to everything we talked about today. The two together tell a fuller story. Thank you for being here. The fact that you're asking these questions, quietly, honestly, that is not a man who is lost. That is a man who is finding his way back to himself.